guys, ItsAMansWorldFTM1. This is Kai, and my voice is doing some weird things today. Yeah, it feels like the inside of my body is having an earthquake, and my ears can feel it. That's kind of weird. Anyway, if I talk in Japanese, my voice is like super low. It's like, hontoka, asukure. Oh, yeah, and that's kind of cool. I've never been able to do that before without faking it, and I just started doing it, so I'm very impressed with it. Anyway, this is topic 45 belatedly for coping, which just seems a bit like a weird topic 45 weeks in. It asks about my partner, which I don't have, so I don't have any opinions from a third party as far as coping with hard things. Since coming out, things have actually been mostly easier, so there hasn't been very much coping. Things that were hard before and things that were hard after. The before things was pretty much just lying to everybody and stuff like that, and the way I coped with that was I spent a lot of time pursuing alternative realities. You know, reading books, watching movies, playing video games, role-playing games, particularly things in which I could be somebody else, you know. And I noticed the last few years before I came out of the closet, a lot of my characters tended to be opposite gender from my natural gender when I was playing them, which sometimes raised eyebrows, or they were gender neutral, or they were gender ambiguous. That was a way of sort of being able to talk about it without being able to talk about it, you know. Other coping methods included crying, internet sex, and contemplations of suicide. After I came out and I received so much public acceptance, and you know, at work and from strangers and so on. A coping mechanism for when my family got shitty after they found out was a support group, and you know, being able to just talk about it or listen to other people or ask questions, you know, that was kind of a cool thing. Even though I was one of like 4 trans men that quickly became 2 trans men that became just me, and then I've left, so now it's all trans women. Help from other trans people was a coping mechanism. And, YouTube was a coping mechanism, and so on. But the only thing that's been hard, or that I've had to cope with since I came out as trans, has been, you know, family crap, which it's just a matter of waiting and talking it out and stuff, and therefore doesn't require coping. Now the holidays have been a little bit, because I was able to go down to visit them before my brother and his family came down, because there's the issues with like the kids seeing me, you know. So I was able to go down and visit my immediate family, and then I can only see my brother, but I can't go back to visit while the rest of the family is there, you know, from out of town. That's kind of shitty and annoying. Anyway, but I haven't really felt like I've had anything to cope with. The not getting tea was annoying, and I cried at one point just in frustration because it had been such a rigorous process just to have him say no. But I don't really cry anymore. Like, even before I started taking tea, like, I'm just not the kind of person who likes to cry. If I get frustrated, I get angry more often than sad. I just don't like crying. I used to love it as a kid, but I just find it so unhelpful. After I've spent many years depressed, and I haven't been depressed in a while, but I've spent so many years being depressed, you know, and I cried a lot when I was younger. I was a very sensitive kid, and I just don't... I just, you know, I would cry all night, you know, I'd cry myself to sleep, thinking about all the bad things I'd done to people and how awful people were and stuff. And it's just not a good way of wasting time, you know? Like, play a video game, man. Read a book, watch a movie, like, learn something. That's so much more useful as a way of getting out of a bad situation than, like, just crying forever. But I used to be a huge crybaby. I mean, never in public. I've always been, you know, very stoic in public. When it comes to my feelings, you know, I may be funny and laughing and stuff, but I don't open up, you know. But as far as crying, you know, my teens were impossible, and yeah. So I did a lot of crying at night, you know, by myself, just to sleep. I thought I was a horrible human being, and here are all the reasons why. And I would just cry and cry and cry and cry, but I don't do that anymore. So my coping mechanisms, I usually get angry, is what happens. And then I have one of two recourses, and depending on which recourse is the most current one, I do the opposite. So if I'm angry, I will play a violent video game where I can express my anger in a safe manner, things like that. But if I've been playing a video game, or video games, and that's the reason I'm upset, I will shut off all social communication and just spend time by myself. Time by myself is usually a good way of recovering from anything. I'm an introvert, so just sitting around quietly, watching a movie, reading a book, you know, it's time by myself. It's good recovery. And I can usually find some way of making that useful to me. If I'm in a social mood, not a mood that was caused negatively by a social interaction, then, you know, a lot of the same things apply, but I do it with other people. And violent video games are fun. Well, this has taken way too long, and hopefully my voice being like this isn't because I'm sick or something, but because, you know, he's working. Let's hope. The day I got the T-shot is the same day that I started having lady problems. Not as in, like, dating problems, but as in problems that ladies have. It hasn't stopped. So it's been 3 weeks and 3.5, almost 4 weeks of this poop. And I am beginning to lose patience. Make it stop. Catch you guys next week for week 46. Whatever that is. Kai out.